Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Hello everyone, welcome to today's webinar using Capterra reviews for lead generation. If you haven't attended one of our previous webinars, my name is Jen Bischoff and I'm a marketing advisor here at Capterra. I'll be presenting the webinar. In follow-up today, we will be sending out the recording as well as a copy of the slides for those that are interested. The session today will be in listen-only mode, so if you have any questions throughout, feel free and submit those over chat. I'll be leaving some time at the end to go over any of the questions that were submitted. So it's pretty exciting to see that about 40% of those that registered for this webinar already have over 5 reviews displaying on Capterra. So again, great to see. I'll certainly be getting into later on in the webinar a few different ways that you can continue your review efforts, as well as some ideas for using reviews content in your marketing. Now, for those that don't have any reviews displaying on Capterra, I'll also be going into just the general submission process. So reviews really have become a norm in any type of purchasing decision, from retail to restaurants, with websites like Yelp and Angie's List and, of course, Amazon. And the software industry really is no different. There is a heavy reliance on peer feedback in the business purchasing process. We actually just released our B2B software buying trends survey results. This was conducted by an outside research company, and the area that we looked at, one of the areas that we looked at was what were the top information sources for researching software options. And on this slide, you can see ranked at number 1 is peer recommendations. Overwhelmingly, respondents said that software is confusing. So actually 71% of software buyers turn to their colleagues and peers for recommendations and for help when considering different software options. From a different study, 72% of consumers said that they trust online reviews just as much as they do personal recommendations. Of course, they have to look legitimate. So it becomes increasingly risky to ignore one of the most important factors in the software buying process, and that is social proof. Now, I think it's pretty clear the importance that reviews have for buyers in their research, but I also wanted to get an idea of what is the impact of having reviews for software vendors in their lead generation efforts, and more specifically having Capterra reviews displayed next to their listings. We did a data analysis a year ago, and I wanted to get some updated numbers, so I just recently did another data poll. To give you more information on how I went about this, I took a 3-month time frame where there was no change in the number of reviews displaying, and I looked at those directories that had about half of the vendors with reviews and half of those listings without reviews, and of course took out any outliers. You know, there really wasn't much of a difference between the data and results that we found a year ago to now. Now, looking at this graph, you'll see the click-through rate, rose moderately as the number of reviews increases for a listing. Of course, one thing to consider with click-through rate is there is a higher total volume in clicks here, so an actual percentage increase can have a huge impact on total clicks. I think the most compelling data from this is actually looking at the results on conversion rate. So, looking at a listing with 0 reviews, 2.54% conversion rate, and then, of course, jumping over to over 20 reviews with a 5.64% conversion rate, that's demonstrating about more than double the conversion rate potential there. And one interesting note on the over 20 reviews section was that this does not only encompass those vendors at the top of the directory. These are pay-per-click customers, featured listings that are on all of the different positions in the directories. So that was something that I was curious about. Definitely some interesting data coming out from that. So that we're all on the same page, I wanted to go over what reviews on Capterra look like, and of course, what buyers are seeing when they come to the directory page. So when you start collecting reviews, you'll definitely have a star rating up here next to your listing, as well as the total number of reviews. Many of you already know that we just went through a website redesign. Pretty excited about that. This is the first iteration, many other changes to come to help make the whole user experience much better. One of the areas that we're really excited about is that for the longest time, basic listings were actually listed in alphabetical order. So basic vendors, take note that moving forward, we're actually going to be listing those those basic vendors that have reviews. So a pretty easy way to get more exposure on Capterra, as well as get some more branding out there. Another new item on the directory is our top reviews page. This is this yellow section. It says looking for great reviews. I'll get into a little bit more on this page in just a minute, but if a buyer clicks on a star rating for a particular vendor, they're going to get to the product spotlight page on Capterra. Of course, here they're going to be able to read through all of the reviews gathered. There's also a call to action here to enter a review in case this is an actual user that wants to leave a review. This is an example of a pay-per-click customer. You'll notice the orange button that says Visit Website. Basic vendors have a View Profile button, so if someone clicks on that, it'll take them to another section of the Product Spotlight page on Capterra. Now, moving to our top reviews page, we found that reviews are really some of the most sought-after content on Capterra. And so we're essentially wanted to respond back and allow buyers to basically filter by reviews so they can get to this page. And one thing to definitely note is that the rankings on this page will have both pay-per-click and basic vendors. So on this example, you'll see that there's a Visit Website button, and that's an example of a pay-per-click customer. Below that is a basic vendor that has reviews that made it onto the ranking of this page. Now, another area that's going to be impacted by reviews on Capterra is our top 20 infographics. A lot of you are already aware of our infographic releases. You may have had someone from Capterra reaching out, maybe asking to collect some data points from you. Well, moving forward, the number of reviews that you have on Capterra will be going into your social score component for the infographic. So this is a pretty easy way to have some leverage and impact on that data pull for the rankings in the infographic. Now, for those of you that want to start proactively collecting reviews from your most satisfied customer, it's pretty easy. You'll just go ahead and log into your vendor portal and click over on the Product Reviews tab. There you'll see a Request a Review button in the middle of the page. That's going to generate an email with a link to the standard review form. Below that, there's also another link that says Product Review Form. Now, I don't think I'm spilling the beans or anything, but I'm pretty excited. We're actually undergoing a vendor portal redesign. We're quite aware that the vendor portal is in need of a refresh, so very excited about that. There's going to be some navigation shifts, but overall, no major changes. I mean, you're still going to be able to go in and view your reviews as well as collect more reviews. Now, for someone that's actually going to be submitting a review, once they get to the review form, they'll have to fill out a star rating section as well as their comments. Once they submit that, they will need to check their email because they will get a confirmation email with a link that they will need to click on to confirm the review. Now, once the review is confirmed, it'll go live 3 days after that. This is a grace period for vendors to go in and view the content before it actually goes public on the directory. Now, as you start collecting reviews, you'll be able to go into your vendor portal on the Product Reviews tab. You'll be able to scroll down. You'll start to see a review queue with the star rating, as well as seeing the status, whether it's pending, confirmed, or displaying. And then next to each of those to the far right is a link where you can click on to go in to read a specific review. To the right of that on this page, you'll also have a few different action options for the review. So there's Add Vendor Response, request contact with user, request removal of review. Add vendor response is really a great way to start a dialogue with a reviewer, whether it's to clear up a misunderstanding or if you want to gain some clarity around an issue. It will certainly show great customer service in front of prospects, or simply maybe you just want to thank someone for submitting a review. Most of the time you'll be able to identify who the user is that submitted a review, but if you would like Capterra to help facilitate contact with a user, you could definitely use this second option here, request contact with user. We've had some circumstances where on accident someone submitted a lower star rating when they meant to submit a higher one, so we're happy to get that resolved right away. The final one here is request removal of review. Now, please note that Capterra will not remove a review simply because it's negative. Obviously, having negative reviews is a huge part of being a reliable review source. And you know, sometimes with negative comments that are submitted, and this has happened time and time again, that as issues are resolved, we will have users that will reach out to ask to edit their review to more favorable comments. Now, of course, there's going to be circumstances where we are going to remove reviews, and we're going to be pretty proactive about this. And if you see anything, please feel free and email us. We're going to look into it. So here's just a quick list of some of the reasons why we do remove reviews. So, of course, they're not a legitimate user, they're bogus, they have a lot of willful misrepresentation, such as they're lying about something. That is not going to be helpful to someone researching different software options. They're using profane language or unprofessional in character. And finally, we've had reviewers ask us to remove reviews. So I wanted to get a little bit more into exactly why software reviews are helpful for prospects. And the first one is reviews help convey target market info. So you're going to have a lot of prospects going into your reviews and reading through the comments, but not only that, they're going to be looking at the types of companies submitting these reviews and looking for peer companies to identify themselves with and learn from. The next one here is a few negative reviews are not bad. Of course, negative reviews are going to be taken into consideration against a lot of the other positive reviews that you're going to have next to your listing. And my example here is of the Apple MacBook Air. You know, they have 109 5 stars compared to only 8 1-star reviews. So definitely, prospects are going to weigh that. You know, also sometimes negative comments may not even be relevant to a prospect. I mean, this has happened to me when I'm online researching and wanting to buy something that I found some products that had negative reviews that didn't even apply to my situation, and I went ahead and bought the product anyways. But relating more to software, an example would be that someone had a poor experience with trying to integrate with a certain product. And then maybe our prospect really isn't even looking to integrate with that product. So, you know, therefore that's completely irrelevant to them. And finally, reviews are really just a great learning experience. So you're going to have your customers submitting some reviews that go over how the implementation process was, you know, how customer service was in a particular circumstance, and that's all great information to prep future customers as they go through the same process. Now I want to dig into a little bit more on the different ways to go about gathering reviews, and these are all ways that we have software vendors currently going about gathering reviews, even our top-rated software vendors. The top one here says create an area on your website. It's pretty straightforward to solicit reviews. I mean, you could even just send out a quick email. The next one is actually having a dedicated email marketing campaign. It could be part of your customer nurture track that might already be in place. But an example here is I work with a vendor that was being considered for the top 20 infographic, and he reached out to his customers for help so that he could have be ranked on that infographic, and he was able to gather more than 20 reviews with that email. It was a very well-written email. Really great to see that. The next one here is ask in your newsletter. You know, that's something that's already you're already sending to your customers. Next one is just creating a blog post. And finally, including links in your email signature. So this would be for someone that is more active in communicating with your customers back and forth. Now I have another page here with other ways of going about gathering reviews. The top one here is to incentivize support staff. We have a software vendor that does this. I think that they give about, I think it's $5 for every quality review that's submitted. And this is kind of cool because it fuels itself. So as you're incentivizing support staff to get great reviews from top customers, they're going to want to create happy customers. And this kind of also goes into the reciprocation principle. I don't know if anyone's read the book Influence, highly recommend it. Again, if you're helping them, they're more likely to help you. And here, the next one, have a computer station at user conferences. I hear this one a lot from the vendors that I work closely with. You know, at user conferences, you already have all of your customers in the same room, so it's pretty easy to set up a little computer station and have them go over and just take a quick minute to fill out a review form. Next one is have an offer to win something or give a hug. Now, I do want to say you have to be careful with this. This isn't about sending out hugs or winning something for only submitting positive reviews. This is about submitting honest, quality reviews that have meat in the comments. And an example of a way that a vendor did this was able to do this in a successful way, he had an iPad giveaway. So he basically put everyone's email into a pool and then drew from there, and he was able to collect gosh, I think it's over 70 reviews that he has from that. Asking users during high engagement points, this is pretty straightforward. Obviously, your customers are going to be much more apt to submit comments when something's top of mind for them. So, for example, right after you may have resolved an issue. Build in product interface. So this one's kind of funny, but there's an actual vendor, and I had never heard of this one before, but there is a vendor that does this. In their product interface, they have a few different options. So the first one is send feedback, the next one is suggest a feature, and then the last one is submit a review, and then that link takes their customers or users to a review form, and they were able to gather a lot of positive reviews that way. Finally, just sending out tweets asking for reviews. You have a lot of your top customers already following you on Twitter. And here I have a few different examples. You know, would love to get your honest review. So great way, another great way to get some reviews from your happy customers. So, you know, you've gone about collecting all of these reviews, your prospects are loving them, you have some customers that really inputted some thoughtful comments. Now the question is, how can I go about further using my reviews data and content? And right now, you know, content marketing is huge. So wanted to get a little bit more into just some brainstorming on creative ways on using reviews data for your own marketing efforts. One here is Capterra does offer a reviews badge. This is something that you can access in your vendor portal. I believe you need 5 or more reviews to use this. So you'll just grab, it's a code snippet that you'll grab and embed on your website, and you'll have a cumulative review rating display on that badge, and as well as having Capterra as an unbiased third-party source. The next one below that I have, create blog articles from data. A great idea around this would be if you're showing up on that top reviews page to create a blog mentioning that. Next is stream review content on your website. If you do this, of course, you're also going to want to have some customer identification there, as well as showing the third-party source that it's from, just so that those comments look more legitimate. Now the next one I have is make an infographic. Now I certainly don't mean having any sort of huge labor-intensive effort here. We know that displaying data along with, you know, in a graphic representation or with images is much more compelling and powerful to prospects. So you could even have this focused around just a really small data point that you pulled, like this percentage of reviewers said this, and just showing it in like an image and doing it that way. You could also have a comparison matrix on ratings on different features or something like that. My last one here is, of course, just kind of tweeting them out. Prospects are listening on social media channels, so this is a really great way to have more, be sending out more user-driven feedback and content rather than having vendor-driven content. We went over in the beginning of the webinar the power that user-driven content has on prospects. So that wraps up everything that I wanted to go over on the reviews webinar today. I wanted to leave some time to go over some of the questions that were submitted. So let me just bring that up. So one of the questions was, I have a lot of pending reviews that have been there for a while. What can I do? This just means that one of your customers did not actually click on the link in their confirmation email after filling out a review. So happy to help with this. Let us know, and what we'll do is we'll just resend that confirmation email out with that link that they'll click on. We can also troubleshoot to see if there was anything wrong with the actual email that they submitted, any letter that was off that may have prevented them from receiving that email. Next one is, can I have reviews display on a company level? The answer to this is no. Capterra reviews are on the product level, and the reason for this is that we really want to have really great feedback. Obviously, prospects are looking to use specific products, so we want to make sure that comments submitted are going to be as helpful as possible to future buyers of your software. Next question here is, can I have a review show for multiple products? So the way Capterra reviews work, reviews are attached by the product name. So you can have a review displaying in any directory that you want as long as it's the same product name. Otherwise, you're going to go about collecting reviews, separate, different, distinct reviews for each product. One question here is, what can I do about confidentiality in reviews? As I'm gathering them from my customers that have confidentiality agreements. Okay, so this one, we really haven't run into this a lot. I'd say only a very few cases, but we do allow, in case this is something that is with your customers, we will allow the first name submitted and the last initial, and then of course something that's industry specific. Next question here is, if someone doesn't give us the type of review we would like, can we disallow the review? So this is going to depend, because you can't go about, simply because a review has negative comments, we're not going to remove a review, and you can't say I don't want this specific review to display. I did go over a slide that goes through the different reasons why we're going to remove a review. So if it does fall under that, then we will be able to remove that review. In some cases, you are able to totally opt out of the reviews program. However, again, if you just have one negative review and you start gathering, and you're pretty active about being involved in gathering reviews from your happy customers, that review is going to be taken, again, into consideration against all of the positive reviews that you have around it. Next question here is, where do I get the review badge code? So the code is located in the vendor portal on the product reviews tab. There'll be another link that says reviews badge, so you'll have to click on that. Again, I think you need about 5 or more reviews in order for a code to generate in your vendor portal. But once you do have that, you'll just scroll down and there'll be a button that says get code, and that's where you can access that. Question today. I will be following up personally with those that I did not answer. If you were unable to submit a question over the course of this webinar, feel free and email me personally. My email is jennifer@capterra.com. It's up on the screen there. You're also welcome to reach out to your specific marketing advisor, whether it's Sarah, Kara, or Katie. Now, of course, would love, as always, to get your feedback on what you liked about this webinar, what you didn't like, what you want to see. Maybe there's a particular topic that you'd like a webinar dedicated around. So would love to get your thoughts on that. So that about wraps it up. I appreciate everyone for attending, and everyone have a really great day. Bye.